Hello, Leo creators. Welcome to Creators on the Crest. I'm Stephanie. Blazer the Morky acted up during the Aries reading, so he's not in the room at the moment, but he may come back later. We'll see. Today, we're going to pull a card for your overall energy. We're going to look at your specific energies, the energies of the person or situation connected to you, and then how those energies mingle and dance in the middle. We'll then close it off with a couple of message cards for the Leo collective. Now, Leo, today I am considering this to be a timeless reading. So whenever you've stumbled upon this, it is the most auspicious and best time for you to hear the messages within. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're going to jump into your reading, but stay tuned at the end. I will talk a little bit more about the creators community and how you can get involved. Okay. Let's get your overall energy from the Sacred Geometry of Relationships Oracle. Okay, Leo, you got the number 11, awareness. The energy of awareness supports our capacity to focus our attention on all aspects of a multidimensional world so that we can create a reality that we truly choose. Now, also, Leo, some of you may have indigenous heritage. Well, we're all indigenous back to some point, I think, but that's not a guarantee there. We can have some star seed energy in our genetic makeup. But I'm getting for you, some of you relate to an indigenous life this lifetime or in your past lives, possibly like a native of a certain land where you're very connected. I'm getting that. I'm kind of getting a four direction feeling here. Some of you have an awareness of yourself, whether it be this lifetime or another lifetime where you've had a close connection with that. And I also get the sense that you deepen your connection to the world and to others through nature as well. So Leo, on your side, you're showing me the 9 of Pentacles, the 2 of Pentacles, and the 9 of Swords. You're moving through a little bit of stressful energy. I feel like it kind of feels like you're ahead of some of the trickier energies, and that for some of you, the energies that are a little more confusing, that can be a little bit rockier of a ride, they happen for you before the actual astrology transit takes place. So you're perceiving these early for some reason. I'm needing to say that to some of you. It's affecting your sleep at times. It's affecting your momentum. However, I really, with that 9 of Pentacles, feel like you have, when you're peaceful in your mind, a really good outlook of what you've built, how far you've come, who you are inside, right? Who you are, Leo. Leo, the lion heart. So I'm enjoying that energy that I sense in that 9 of Pentacles. These all being minor arcana puts me at a little bit better ease. And also, we've got 9s here. You had the 11 in the awareness, 1 + 1 is 2, and you've got a 2. So I'm just going to mention that for those of you who like numerology. You may want to look into those numbers a little more in depth, or you could be seeing those repeat quite frequently in your awareness field. For the energy of the person connected to you, they get the 6 of Swords, the 5 of Swords, and the 3 of Wands. This person strikes me as someone who's trying to escape drama and conflict. They could be a non-confrontational person, which, you know, that can be good and bad. And they may be really tied up in their own endeavors, if you know what I mean. Like their mind gets occupied by something and they can't focus on anything else but that. So when drama or conflict comes to their doorstep, they tend to rush away. Maybe this is the kind of person that might retreat into their work, or they may be someone who is like a writer that kind of goes in their study and hides away. You know, or that teenager that locks their door and plays video games and you have to coax them out, right? Could be that. I kind of feel a more mature energy here, like a more adult than a teenager kind of energy, but it's that kind of energy of reclusiveness comes up for them. Now, in the middle of the connection, the two of you get the Strength card and the Queen of Swords. You could be dealing with a fellow Leo here. The Strength card is coming up. I do think there might be a little bit of a splinter in this connection. I don't think that is necessarily a deal breaker kind of thing. We've got the Queen of Swords. It's a determined energy. I feel like there's an energy of invitation here for the two of you to communicate or communicate better. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see when we clarify here, Leo. All right, let's look at this Nine of Pentacles for you here. This is where I feel good. I feel good about what you've done, where you're at. Let's see what you think. The Moon and the Five of Cups. You're not in the emotional state where you can recognize this right now. Something has you sad. You may be someone who has put yourself into a bit of shadow work or healing work right now. Bit of shadowy energies with that Moon card. You might be being a bit more on the reserved side right now, Leo, rather than your outward lion. Some of you could be cuspers with the Cancer, Leo cuspers, because the Moon rules Cancer. That energy is coming up. You're being attentive to that, even though it's hard. Even though it's kind of hard to connect with your celebrations and all that you've built when you have some powerful sadness or regrets even. It could be regrets for some of you. So you're working on navigating this. I do think it's important work with the Moon here. I think it's work that needs to be done. So I definitely would not shy away from this, but maybe try to find creative ways to build in moments of reprieve from the sadness or depression that you might feel. Let's look at this Two of Pentacles. Throwing out some cards here. We got the Three of Wands and the Ace of Wands. This is where I find that you're working with the fiery energy here. It feels like you're kind of back and forth. It's interesting that you have the Ace of Wands and in between is the Two of Pentacles and then you have the Three of Wands. You're really trying to exercise, now it could be physical exercise for some of you, but exercise your energies in between your inspiration and your goals and your planning. And so I think you're having to move a lot around in your physical world. You could be doing some clutter clearing. That could help you feel a little bit better and bridge this gap. You could be taking up some extra hours at work that sometimes make you too tired to do that. There's sometimes a bit of a interference here in this energy. So you've got the Ace of Wands, and then you've got the Three of Wands, but the Two of Pentacles is in the middle instead of the Two of Wands. So you're trying to make a connection here, but the physical world or your physical health or your energy levels maybe are coming in and kind of, maybe you're getting a little sidetracked sometimes, or maybe you have to deal with other things. So you can't put all the energy toward your passion and your excitement that you want to. Let's look at this Nine of Swords. I'm sure that's stressful. Yes, it is very stressful for you. You have the Nine of Swords to clarify the Nine of Swords. And you have the Knight of Pentacles. This is a bit slower process. You are in a time where it's important for you to strategize. It's important for you to analyze the playing field. And your energy otherwise just wants to move. You want to get through it. You want to bring your fire to it. You don't want to spend time feeling depressed, doing the shadow work. Although I will say this is an important time for you to be in. This is important for you to do right now. I know it can be stressful because you may feel like it hampers your ability to move forward with certain things, but your patience is required here, Leo. So this may take a bit longer. Now remember your overall energy for awareness, focusing your attention on all aspects of a multidimensional world so that we can create that reality. Sometimes we're going to be pulling strings in the spiritual. Sometimes we'll be pulling strings in the emotional. Sometimes we'll be pulling strings in the physical world. You're having to navigate all of this. This is part of the human experience. So just bringing awareness to that and knowing that, okay, I have this inspiration. I want to plan how this goes. This is going slow. That stresses me out. and sometimes I can't see how I'm going to bridge these gaps. You want to do so by allowing it all in. And I know that that might seem counterintuitive or overwhelming to you, but that's the experience that you're expanding into. Remember, the Strength card here in the center of the connection with this other person is the number 8. It brings in abundance and expansion, okay? So keep that in mind. Let me look at their energy here. They got that 6 of Swords, clarified by the 2 of Pentacles. They relate to what you're going through, and the Ace of Swords. So this person that you're connected to, that I said is kind of non-confrontational, and they like a calm environment, but they too are juggling struggles. They default to the mental space, is what I'm seeing with the Ace of Swords. I would like to say that this Ace of Swords means they're a good communicator, but I don't necessarily get that. I don't think they always know what words to say or how to say them. They may stumble on their words a little bit, and I giggle in kind of a cute way. I think they're a bit nerdy or geeky. That's fine. I'm a geek too. I think we all have our different levels of geekiness, but they may be in a little bit more of that energy where they're trying to logic their way through things here. I think they can relate to you, but from a logical perspective, whereas you're more from an experiential perspective. Let's look at this 5 of Swords for this person. The 5 of Pentacles and the Hierophant. Whew. So yeah, when there is conflict that arises, even if it's conflict that maybe you and I would look at and say, oh, that's no big deal, we can work that out, easy peasy lemon squeezy, this person goes in, it's an abandonment trigger for them. I feel like they're the kind of person that feels like if they don't answer right, if they don't perform just right, if they don't do X, Y, Z in a certain order, they get out of sorts. Some of them could have a quite demanding work environment, or they're under a lot of pressure, a lot of deadlines. This is supposed to be a part of their experience so they can expand into their own personal authority, into their own spiritual authority with the Hierophant here. This is a lot of 5 energy that they're working with though. 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, and the Hierophant card being a 5. This person, whether they're comfortable or not, outside of that logical arena, they are being pulled in these other directions. And it really is, you know, the overall energy of awareness about the multidimensional world. This is for both of you. And this person is being pulled on. And I think they always default to trying to logic it out and figure it out in their mind. And that may not be what brings them into peace, what brings them into the center point, the peaceful realm that they desire to operate in. It's like they could just spend countless days in a library absorbing all this information. That brings them peace, that brings them comfort. But they're also being pulled on here by the universe, by the multidimensional aspects to come out of that logic from time to time. And so, of course, that's going to express in their relationships as well. Let's look at this 3 of Wands for them. The Queen of Swords and the Justice card. Okay, because the Queen of Swords is in the connecting energies here. You may be the one who knows this person in this way. You may be the one that, or the relationship itself between you and this person kind of draws them out of their logic while at the same time honoring it. The Justice card holds the sword, but she also holds the scales, meaning we're going to keep logic in balance. Logic is going to be equivalent to wisdom and evolution and growth and truth. It's not going to be predominant over those energies. And I think they see you as someone who can maybe assist them with that. They could be a Libra. They are very mental. They are very, and I don't mean mental crazy. I mean, they're just very mental, logical leaning person. And that's just part of who they are. I don't see a lot of emotional energy at this point coming up for them. It could come up through the connection, but that doesn't mean it's not there. It's just they have such a strong leaning toward intellectual pursuits, mental, you know, and it's not that they can't figure things out. The universe is still tapping at them for that. For the Strength card, you bring in the energy of the Page of Wands. So there's your fire. I like that it's more gentle. It's the page. You're not forcing it on this other person. You're allowing them to have their experience. They bring in the energy of the Four of Pentacles. There's some connection here to resources, material. This person, I'm getting the word grants, like grants. They could be a college professor. They could be that type, like where grants are important or something of that nature to continue their work. They're tied up in that somehow. When they're stressed out about resources, finances, and money, especially as it applies to their intellectual pursuits, they have a tendency to feel a little less human to other people around them, more robotic. Okay, and so I think you're sensitive to that. And you're bringing the fire to them, but in a real gentle, you know, not a raging fire, burn it all down, but like, here, don't you want to explore and experience some of this beautiful transformation over here, you know? And it's going to be non-linear, and it's not going to make any sense. It's not going to be logical at times, but it's still okay. You will survive. You know, you kind of give them that kind of vibe. Let's look at this Queen of Swords here. In the connecting energy. Woo, you bring in the Knight of Wands. This is where you're moving from the page to the Knight. You're like, okay, they see me, they hear me, we're communicating. And you turn up the heat a little, and they got the Eight of Cups. They run away. They have the tendency to run away, run back to their library, run back to their books, retreat, retreat, retreat. Uh-oh, you know, a little more fire's coming my way. That must mean conflict, you know. And like I said, perhaps they're getting it from another place or growing up. There was some conflict. You know, you're definitely showing me emotions and that what stresses you out and how you're dealing with it. They're the kind of person that like doesn't want me to see that, but it's coming out anyway. But they don't want people to know, but that is what it is. It's very obvious, but yet they try to keep it hidden. Very interesting. This person's energy is very interesting. But remember, this is about awareness and embracing all aspects of reality, being able to create in different ways, not simply mentally and logically, but other ways. Leo, we're going to close off your reading with some message cards. Now, message cards may or may not pertain to the relationship that I've just read here. These messages could come from the universe, your greater being. They could come from someone else that you're connected to. So I want you to use your intuition and your inner knowing to file these in the appropriate category for yourself. I will give you my interpretation of it, but you will want to trust yourself above and beyond anyone else, right? Okay, so this message is so sweet. It says, I adore your smirks and smiles. I love your cute little laugh. Leo, what a precious message. That could be this relationship here, or something that goes unspoken but is appreciated. Or this might be how you feel about a child or a youngster in your life. The cute little laugh, that could be a sweetie, one sweetie to another. So whoever that sparks for you is whoever it sparks for you. Trust that energy. And the other one says, I imagine what our life would be like together. And so that's also very interesting. These two messages, they feel very flirty. They feel fun. They feel Leo-ish. So maybe you are working on this other person. Maybe they're a little bit more tightly wound and you're working to unwind them. Or, you know, you're just having a little fun here, bringing a little fun into it. I think that's what you're doing with the Page and Knight of Wands. Like, let's spice it up a little. But you know this person has a certain comfort zone, you know, and what would it be like? What would your life be like together if, right? Maybe we say, I imagine what our life would be like together if, right? when we're ifing, that can be a little tricky. So you don't want to get too carried away in if only this or if only that. But it could also illuminate a place that you need to communicate here with this person and really have a heart-to-heart conversation. I didn't see a lot of that here. I think it's because of their personality. So just food for thought, something to keep in mind. So Leo, if you've been staying tuned to this reading, thank you so much for staying with me to the end. Make sure you like and comment and also share with a friend. I always say grassroots are the best roots, and I know you have like-minded, like-hearted individuals who could benefit from my channel's content. Send them my way. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you're the first to get the alerts when the readings are launched and published. And then also join me every Friday from 10 to noon, this AM, 10 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time for Frequency Friday, where I do collective messages. We have a lot of fun. It's a high vibing experience. And then we do some fun breakout readings. Now, if you can't catch that live due to work or the timing, be sure to catch the replay where I timestamp everything for your convenience. Every other Sunday night, I'm live here on the channel doing live Q&A and giving little mini readings. So if that's something you're interested in, 7 to 8 p.m. Central Time every other Sunday night. If you can join, drop in the live chat, introduce yourself, let's have some fun, drop your question, drop your theme, or just ask for a general message or your highest and best message. And I do those, it's like a power hour from 7 to 8. I do stop at 8. I try to honor that boundary for myself due to timing, and I have a life too outside of just the tarot. But it's a whole lot of fun. And if you miss out asking your question, you can always come back the next go around. You can also look in the description below and book a personal reading with me. Also watch Instagram and Facebook stories at Creators on the Crest. I do run specials, seasonal specials from time to time. So keep an eye out there, Leo. Thank you so much for joining this reading today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I'll see you next time.